This is Mr. Martin. These are video notes for Pre-Calculus Advanced, Unit 5. We're talking about the unit circle, and in this video we're going to be talking about reference angles. So a reference angle, this is the smallest positive angle formed with the x-axis. Okay, it will always be acute. Okay, so a couple of key points here. It's positive, it's formed with the x-axis, and it's going to be acute. So we have to make sure it fulfills those three requirements. So let's take a look at a couple examples here. We want to determine the reference angle for each of the following. So I always like to make a little graph. So I'm going to graph 380. So 380 degrees, that's going to be 20 degrees more than 360. So 360 would go all the way around. So here's my initial side. 360 would go all the way around, and then I need to go another 20 degrees. So when I indicate my direction, I'm going to show with that spiral that I'm going all the way around past 360 and then over to 20 degrees past. So in figuring out how to draw that, we've kind of already talked about my reference angle. So again, I knew that it was 20 degrees past, so this here is going to be my reference angle. So notice it's a positive direction. It's formed with the x-axis, and it's also acute. Okay, so in this case I could see I went 20 degrees past 360, and that would be my reference angle. Okay, in this case it does happen to be 380 minus 360, but I think if you can use the diagram to help you, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, because as you figure out how to draw that, you're going to be figuring out your solution with it. So let's move on to the next one. We have negative 545. So I know that I'm going to have to go negative 360, and then I'm going to have to keep going another 180. That's going to give me negative 540. So let's see, let's start drawing this out. So here's negative 360, and then another 180 is negative 540, and then to get to negative 540 I have to go another 5 degrees right to there. So here's my initial side, here's my terminal side, and then I just figured out that I had to go 5 degrees past to get my reference angle. So that means that this angle here, notice that I drew this in a positive orientation. Positive is counterclockwise. So it's going to be the opposite of my red angle here. And then I figured out that I had to go 5 degrees past that. So that's going to be 5 degrees. Okay, and again, notice it's formed with the x-axis, it's positive, and it's acute. Alright, let's move on to the next one. We've got a pretty large angle here, so what I want to do is I want to figure out how many revolutions 2658 is. So 2658, I'm going to divide that by 360, and I get about 7.4 revolutions. So that means if I graph this, I'm going to have to go around 7 full revolutions. So 7 revolutions is going to be 7 times 360, which is 2,520 degrees. And then I need to go plus another, so I have to subtract those. 2658 minus 2520. So that means I'm going to have to go another 138 degrees. Okay, so I just kind of figured out how many 360s were in there and took those out. So I took out the 7 360s, the 7 full revolutions, and I was left with 138 degrees, which is a lot more manageable. So basically what we're talking about here is that 2658 and 138, they're going to be coterminal. They're going to start and end in the same spot. But spiraling around 7+ times is kind of unnecessary. So 138, that's going to be, here's 90, here's 180, so 138 is going to be somewhere in here. Here's my initial side. So this is going to be 138. So then my reference angle, it's got to be formed with the x-axis. It's got to be acute and positive, so it's going to be right in here. Okay, and I see that my 138 and my reference angle, those are going to add up to 180. So if I just do 180 minus 138, that's going to give me my reference angle here of 42 degrees. Okay, so they can get a little complicated if you have a very large angle. So let's take a look at the last one. Again, let's figure out how many full revolutions I have. So I have negative 1120 divided by 360. That's going to give me about negative 3.11 full revolutions. Okay, so I have 3 full revolutions. Okay, and those 3 full revolutions is 3 times 360, which is 1080 degrees. Okay, and then I need to go plus another, so let's figure out how much farther I need to go. Negative 1120 plus 1080. That's going to be plus another negative 40 degrees. Okay, so this is the key here. Negative 1120 and negative 40 are coterminal, so it doesn't matter which one we find the reference angle for, it's going to be the same. So negative 40, so here's my initial side. Negative 40 is going to go 40 degrees in the negative direction, so it's going to be somewhere around here. Here is negative 40 degrees, and then to draw our reference angle, it's pretty straightforward. This angle here is already acute, so all I need to do is indicate that it goes in the positive direction, and that would be 40 degrees positive, right? Because our reference angle has to be positive and acute, and it doesn't matter if it starts at the x-axis or ends at the x-axis. In this case, my terminal side is the x-axis, so we're starting down at the ray in the 4th quadrant and going in the positive direction to the x-axis, and we would be 40 degrees. Alright, so make sure you ask me your questions. That's the end of this video, and we'll see you next time.